Think about the last time you were driving down a familiar road and you suddenly had the terrifying thought, wait, did I just miss my exit? That split-second doubt that your own memory has failed you. You've heard about people who get lost in the woods, but what if the forest isn't passive? What if it knows exactly who it wants and it actively hides the trail from you? I worked search and rescue for 5 years. I know what panic looks like. There is a section of the Appalachian Trail we call the Whispering Bowl. We've had more missing persons reports there than in any other area combined. Not accidents, mind you. People just vanish. They leave their car keys, their backpacks, their phones, everything. But they are gone. I don't believe in mysticism. I believe in a compass, a map, and training. My job is to find them, and when I first heard about the Whispering Bowl, I chalked it up to bad GPS data and human carelessness. I've walked that forest 100 times. I knew every trail, every stream. I even knew where the best blueberries grew in the summer. I was leading a small search team after an elderly hiker, Mr. Davies, disappeared. We had his last known coordinates. The weather was clear, the path was well marked. Impossible to get truly lost. I felt calm. I felt confident. This was just routine work. But the moment we crossed the old stone arch that marked the boundary of the bowl, I felt a physical pressure. The air felt thick, heavy, almost like the humidity had changed, even though there was no rain. It was suddenly hard to breathe. First, it was the sound. The forest was absolutely silent. No birds, no wind, just the sound of our own boots on the damp soil. I could hear Mike breathing heavily behind me. We were used to working in a loud forest. This silence was unnatural. It was like the forest had turned off its microphone just to listen to us better. Then came the signs. I noticed a large, jagged rock shaped like a fist. I marked it on my map. 10 minutes later, we came across an identical rock. I thought I'd made a circle. I checked the GPS. We were moving in a straight line. I tried to tell myself it was a trick of the eye. Then my colleague, Mike, pointed out a massive oak tree. It had a unique double scar from an old lightning strike. We walked past it. 5 minutes later, we saw the exact same tree again, identical scar and all. I stopped dead. This couldn't be a coincidence. I took out my knife and carved a clear cross into the trunk of the second tree. We moved on. Exactly 7 minutes later, directly in front of us, stood the tree with the double scar again. And beneath the scar, my cross. I hadn't strayed from the path. The forest had simply duplicated itself, or it had moved us. I finally understood. The forest wasn't letting us get lost. It was making us lose our minds. The landmarks weren't moving. The forest was creating copies of itself, false trails, duplicated trees, mirroring our own confusion to trap us in a loop. Our steps were meaningless. The map was useless because the forest no longer obeyed geometry. We finally found Mr. Davies' backpack dropped right in the middle of a small clearing. I picked it up. Inside, there was a small, waterlogged notebook. His last entry was just 2 words, repeated over and over. The path is hungry. The path is hungry. I looked up. The clearing was closing in. Trees I hadn't seen before were leaning inwards. I felt the skin crawl on the back of my neck. This wasn't just psychological pressure. It was a physical sensation that the space around us was shrinking. The branches looked like hands reaching for us. Mike yelled, "My GPS just went blank, the river is gone." I didn't dare look. I knew that if I looked at the spot where the stream should be, I wouldn't see water. I'd see something else, and that something else would look back at me. We ran. We ran until we burst out of the tree line and back onto the main road. Our run lasted no more than 5 minutes, but I felt like I'd run a marathon. Our lungs burned, and when we got out, we were deafened by normal sounds, cars, birds, life. It was so loud, so normal, it felt fake. I looked back. The forest looked completely normal, inviting. But I know what it does. I know the forest doesn't let its guests leave. It's just waiting for them to come back. It left the door open. I didn't save Mr. Davies. The forest kept him. And sometimes when I close my eyes, I can still hear that silence, and I can see those 2 identical oak trees standing shoulder to shoulder with my cross carved into both of them, waiting for the next person to walk into its trap.